Well, the genesis of the alumni room started with Tom Mattern, and he's the person who collected all the memorabilia that is in the room. He started probably 25, 30 years ago collecting stuff. Down at the Philomathian School when they were renovating down there, somebody called him and said, Tom, you got to get up here. They're throwing stuff out because the construction company was uncovering all these boxes of photographs, old books, stuff from the school. And of course, the people in the school didn't know what it was and we don't want it, we had no place to put it. So he went down there and immediately pulled it out of the trash, took it home, and that was the start of him collecting. People started sending him stuff. Oh, I've got a yearbook from 1898 or whatever, whenever and all this stuff. So he was flooded with memorabilia that he had to keep, and then he cataloged it and built this library of stuff. And the original alumni room started in a old teacher's conference room that was next to the library. That's been there for the 70s, 60s, 70s, and it was a room that the teachers had moved on to another room as their what do they call it? The teachers' conference room or
Teachers' lounge?
Teachers' lounge,
Yeah.
thank you, where they go and eat lunch and get away from the kids for half an hour. So anyway, that's what that was, and he set up tables, and he would put it together. He would put stuff on the tables and put stuff on the walls, and then people would come in and look. And then when they all left, then he would have to pack everything back up, stuff it in boxes, put it up under tables, and kind of hide it so they could use the room for something else. And this went on for several years, and finally, when they built the Performing Arts Center, 2007, I think. I'm not sure on dates, but when they started building that, the Alumni Association got an office space set aside for them. But and that's where the alumni historical room began, in that room.
There was a teachers meeting that I remember vividly. Somebody said, because of my interest in history, is you ought to go down to the storage room at the old building there and look to see what you can find, because they said there's a lot of old stuff they're starting to throw out. And sure enough, there was a dumpster right next to the chimney that isn't there anymore. And they were throwing out these boxes of things, and I just happened to look at a couple of them, and I looked and to put my hand in there, and one of the boxes I pulled out was a picture of the first basketball team. And that, I think, was 1904. I started getting deeper into it, and more things I began to find of the old stuff from the school. And that's sort of how the interest of the historical end of this came about. Now, the Alumni Association had a kind of a all-school reunion once they were done with this in 1989, invited all alumni to come back. And they took a lot of the things that I had found, starting with this dumpster diving, put it on display, and they formed an alumni association. Shortly thereafter, I retired from teaching and coaching. And as a result of that, I had time to get involved in helping to become the first alumni director. And that was about 1990, 1991, somewhere in there. So that's how the historical part got started, and that's how the Alumni Association got started.